Hey folks, a new phishing tactic dubbed ConsentFix is making waves. It blends social engineering with OAuth vulnerabilities so attackers can hijack cloud accounts without needing passwords or even triggering MFA. It starts with a fake verification page that asks the victims to copy and paste a URL as a security check. Now, when the user clicks the malicious sign-in button, an actual legitimate Microsoft login page opens, and after the user sends in, Microsoft will redirect to that local host address containing an authorization code. All right. Now, the phishing page then instructs the user to paste that URL back in, which is absolutely stupid, but this is when the trouble starts. By pasting the URL, the victim unwittingly hands over their valid OAuth authorization code that the attacker then exchanges for legitimate access tokens. This gives the hacker full access to the victim's Microsoft accounts without ever needing a password or MFA prompts. This abuses Microsoft's OAuth flow. It basically sidesteps the usual security controls and logging. It's a highly advanced scheme that turns a simple copy and paste into a complete account takeover. Threat hunters have confirmed that Russia's APT29, aka Cozy Bear, amongst other threat actors, are actively using this tactic. So keep your eyes peeled, and for the love of God, folks, don't paste data that you're unfamiliar with into some rando site online. That's how you get pwned. All right, moving on to our next story. This is a heads up for you online shoppers. Magecart is back. They've been skimming credit cards from major networks like American Express, Visa, MasterCard since 2022. This campaign injects obfuscated JavaScript into e-commerce sites. Specifically, WooCommerce sites with Stripe gateways are especially vulnerable. Here's how it works. The malicious code hides in the real payment form and replaces it with a fake one that looks exactly like Stripe's official interface. When you enter your credit card details, the attackers capture everything. They then encrypt that stolen data and send it to their servers. Then after stealing your information, the script brings back the original form and shows an error message, basically tricking you into thinking that maybe you fat-fingered your credit card number or something. Meanwhile, your credit card details are gone. Now, since this is a server-side issue, it's actually kind of hard to protect yourself from attacks like this. So we got to go with a different approach. And here's how you protect yourself. First, use a credit card instead of a debit card. Credit cards typically have stronger fraud protections, and your bank account won't be directly exposed. Next, try to use a digital wallet if the site supports it. Apple Pay and Google Pay use tokenization, so the merchant never receives your actual card number. Next up, try to use a virtual card number when possible. Many banks offer these services, like privacy.com can create credit card numbers that you can pause or even put hard limits on. Or do what I do and just get yourself a prepaid gift card from a grocery store. I do this and also get extra fuel points to boot. And this one also goes without saying, but try to do your best to shop with well-known retailers and avoid sketchy one-off stores from ads or social media posts. All right, our last story. ServiceNow patched what they're calling the most severe AI vulnerability to date. With a 9.3 CVSS score, they're calling this BodySnatcher. This flaw lets unauthenticated attackers impersonate users using just an email address and a hard-coded credential. All right, this hard-coded credential is shared between all ServiceNow external agents. You want to know what the password is? It's ServiceNow external agent. Now, due to some flaws in how ServiceNow logic trusts, attackers are using this ability to create authentication tickets and then using agentic AI to run privileged workflows like creating backdoor admin accounts or data exfiltration. And this isn't a small isolated issue either, folks. 85% of the Fortune 500 use ServiceNow in either IT, HR, or cybersecurity. So this is a pretty big deal, folks. So patch your stuff ASAP. Luckily, the good news is that as of right now, there are no reports of this being exploited in the wild. So that wraps up today's stories. This is Andy Thompson signing off.